Okay. So what's your first question then?
Yeah. In terms, if we get an advantage, disadvantage, or a cause solution essay, is it okay if I just put one advantage, one disadvantage in each of the body paragraphs and the same one cause, one solution?
No, probably not. Have you got a particular question in mind?
Not particularly, because generally the questions come like, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages?
Yeah. Well, if it is plural, then you definitely need to mention more than one.
Okay.
You see, can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Well, if you only mention one, then you have not addressed all parts of the task.
Okay. So at least two, yeah?
So if it says advantages, plural, or if it says propose some solutions, or what are the causes, then yes, you must mention more than one.
Okay, so at least at least two, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The only problem is that the more we mention, the less we can write about, isn't it? And given the time constraints.
Well, that's true, but it should normally be possible to include two supporting ideas in a 100 to 120 word paragraph.
Okay, so if I write one advantage and then two supporting sentences, and then another, and then two. Yeah, okay. So that answers my question. The other question is that when we give relevant examples, if I'm giving two advantages, I have to give the relevant example for that for the idea of the body paragraph, isn't like for advantages. So it may be. Is it okay if I just give one example for one advantage? Because
yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I need to include examples in all the all the body paragraphs?
You could give other reasons why a particular idea is true or correct. It does not necessarily have to be an example. It could be a reason, or it could be evidence. So think about reasons, evidence, and examples.
And if I'm quoting statistics, like I was told by someone that it doesn't have to be necessarily correct, the data.
It depends, you see. Of course, the examiner is not going to check whether your statistics are correct. I prefer not to give specific figures, and I would also suggest that you don't use phrases like recent evidence from Harvard suggests that, because the examiner will assume it is made up evidence. It is not characteristic of a high band score answer to use made up statistics. What statistics do you want to provide? Can you give me an example?
I could give a personal example. I could give results of a survey. The other thing I was thinking of
the results of a survey into what? If
the essay topic is about, for example, that food companies should be taxed to help in improvement of the physical health of the population, then I could maybe suggest a survey done by a newspaper suggested that if when people were asked that would they quit burgers if the price of the burgers went up above $5, then most of them said yes to it.
Okay, now in that example, I mean, it is something that is, to me, it is obvious. You do not need research from Harvard or the Daily Mail to prove that people are going to buy less of something if it's more expensive. So I would quote the first law of economics: if the price goes up, demand goes down. If you want to deter people from eating McDonald's and Coca-Cola, then make McDonald's and Coca-Cola more expensive.
Yes.
So in your example, it's not necessary to quote whatever you've read in the Daily Telegraph or the Guardian, because the examiner will assume it's made up. And I think it is much better to use common sense examples rather than research which may or may not be made up. And certainly in the example you gave me, it's common sense.